Hello everyone, this is Unit 2, Present Simple. I will be talking about using I do. I will give some examples of when you can use them. This is Alex. He is a bus driver, but now he is in bed asleep. He is not driving a bus. He wakes up. It's his day off. He wants to see his grandma. Alex goes outside. He will meet his grandma at the market. He doesn't have a car. He rides his bike to the market. Grandma is very excited to see Alex. She jumps in the air. Grandma is very hungry, so Alex suggests going to a cafe. They ride the bus together. Alex and Grandma spend a long time talking. They enjoy each other's company. Alex is tired and falls asleep. Grandma stands up. She says, "Go home and go to bed." That was Unit 2, Present Simple. Sweet dreams, Alex. Hello everyone, welcome to Unit 2, Present Simple. Let's have a look at this quick example here. It says, Alex is a bus driver, but now he is in bed asleep. He is not driving a bus. He is asleep. But he drives a bus. He is a bus driver. So, drive, drives, work, and works, does, and does is the present simple. So, for some quick examples, I drive to work. We drive to work. You drive to work. They drive to work. And you can also say, he drives to work. She drives to work. And it drives to work. So when you're talking about somebody else, for example, he, she, or it, you need to put the S at the end of the sentence. But sometimes you don't put the S. If you look at does, you have to put ES. But generally, you put an S at the end of the word. So as some quick examples, we can use some different words. We don't have to use these ones. We can use jump, laugh, swim, cycle. So there are many different words you can use, but let's use these for now. You can say, I jump. We jump. You jump. They jump. And if you're talking about a single person, you can say he jumps. She jumps. It jumps. You can do the same for laugh, swim, and cycle. So let's look at be. We use the present simple to talk about things in general. We use it to say something that happens all the time, repeatedly, or something that is true in general. So, for example, nurses look after patients in hospitals. So, in general, nurses look after patients in hospital. So, when we look, we use the first one. And because we use the first one, we don't have to put an S on the end. Because we're talking about something in particular. So nurses look after patients in hospitals. Let's have a look at number 2. I usually go away on the weekends. And because we're talking about you in particular, I we don't have to put an S on the end. So I usually go away at the weekends. We can make our own examples using the words we have above. You see these ones that we did earlier? So we have jump into jumps, laugh into laughs, swim into swims, and cycle into cycles. So using these words, we can easily make a sentence. If we want to use I, we, you, or they, then we don't have to put an S on the end. So for example, I jump. You don't have to put the S. And if you need to put the S, you can say he jumps. We have we laugh. Because of the we don't need to put laughs. But if we say she, then we would have to put the S. It would change into she laughs. So we can do it for all the words we made here, and also many other words. So let's have a look at C. We use do and does to make questions and negative sentences. So for the questions, you would use do and does. You can say, do we work? Does she drive? So for do, you have to use I, we, you, or they. And for does, you have to use he, she, or it. So for example, do they work? Does she drive? And to make a negative sentence, you have to use don't and doesn't. So you can say, I don't work. We don't work. They don't work. Or you can say, he doesn't work. She doesn't work. It doesn't work. So let's have a look at some examples here. I come from Canada. Where do you come from? So this would be using a question. In the following examples, do is also the main verb. So, what do you do? So this uses the word do twice. He's always so lazy. He doesn't do anything to help. So both of these use the word do 2 times in the same sentence. This one would be the question, and this one would be the negative because of doesn't on the bottom. So let's have a look at D. We use the present simple to say how often we do things. So, I get up at 8 o'clock every morning. So every morning would be how often we do something. And we would say, I get up. So I get up at 8 o'clock every morning. So you can also say, he gets up. So if we go back to the top, we can see here, I, we, you, and he and she. So because we used I, we have to use get. There's no S on the end of these words, only on the end of this word. So, if we said he, we would have to say gets. So let's go back down. How often do you go to the dentist? So this word isn't does. This is do. So this isn't the second portion. This will be the top half. This one here. So let's go down and finish the rest of them off. Julie doesn't drink tea very often. So this is a negative. Remember this one over here that we did? Negative. Robert usually goes away 2 or 3 times a year. So this is goes because we said someone's name. We can say anyone's name. It would be the same as saying he or she. So he usually goes away. You can change that. Robert usually goes away. Let's look at E, the final one. I promise, I apologize. So sometimes we can do things by saying something. For example, when you promise to do something, you can say, I promise. When you suggest something, you can say, I suggest. So an example would be, I promise I won't be late. You wouldn't say, I'm promising. And the next example, what do you suggest? I do. I suggest that you blah blah blah. So you can change suggest to a different word. For example, you can say advise. What do you advise I do? I advise that you blah blah blah. So you can use many different words, but some words don't work. For example, you couldn't say refuse. What do I refuse I do? I refuse that you blah 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 would be wrong because it doesn't make any sense. But you could use these three. So if you want to make a promise about something, you can say, I promise, and then you can say something afterwards. So you could say, I promise I will study, or I promise I will have a shower, or I promise I will go home. Good job, everyone. Let's answer the example questions next.